Okay, I'm just checking that we are actually on there now.
I'm gonna pull
Not
up my
quite
phone.
yet.
Not there yet? Okay.
No. Slight delay, isn't it? It's about 10 or 15 seconds, I think, is it?
Yep. I'm showing it on the screen now.
Yeah, it's on now.
Okay, excellent. All right. So here we are. This isn't the introduction yet, but I tell you what, if it's 3 o'clock on a Sunday, Central Time here in the United States, or 9 o'clock in the UK, it is time for Crypto in 45 on MDD. So I tell you what, this is the pre-announcement. This weekend, we're joined by somebody that you have not seen yet on this live stream, our good friend Steve.
I thought we had a special guest then.
You're kind of that special guest, right?
Well, yeah.
So I tell you what, while we wait for people to come on, let's go ahead and go to the intro. And I want to close this. And here we go. Oh, I never do that smoothly, do I? I never get that right. All right, one of these days, you can blame our technical engineer.
Yeah.
Here we go. Now I should get it right.
That's better.
Is that better? Here we go.
Yeah.
Audio comes. Oops. Tell you what, I'm gonna.
Not quite.
Hold on.
It's the worst thing is you can't edit these afterwards, can you? Because they're just recorded live.
See, I knew it, and I didn't have my audio sharing on. That would have screwed me up. All right, now let's do it.
Money is coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. Money is coming to me. I can just feel it, and I believe. Money keeps coming to me. It's coming to me now, and I'm not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me. Come on, come on, come on. The universe is working for me, working and working. I can just feel it, and I believe it's working for me now, and I'm not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me. More than enough to live, more than enough to give, more than enough to share. I feel like it's already here. More than enough to shout, more than enough to drop, more than enough to save, with plenty left over to give away. Money is coming to me. I can just feel it.
All right, that's enough. Oop, did I lose Steve?
No, I'm still here. I
right.
turned my video off though, so you might need to turn my video back on.
You just went
It
off.
won't let me do it.
All right. So hopefully I didn't screw up. Hopefully the audio and everything worked out that way. So hey everybody, welcome. It is Sunday. Today is February 25th. And if it's a Sunday, it's time for Crypto in 45 on MDD because it's 3 o'clock Central Time US or 9 o'clock for our friends in the UK. And I think probably, isn't South Africa kind of similar time zone?
It's 11 p.m. in South Africa at the moment.
All right. And pretty much everybody in Australia, you're all asleep or doing whatever you're doing at this time of the day for you. So, are you going to come back on?
Yeah, I can't. It won't let me.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Because I'm not host.
Make you a host.
All these technical little things that we have to deal with every week.
All right, so I just made you a host.
And I'm back again.
And there he is. So, yeah, like I had mentioned, so what we're going to do is we're going to be watching for comments. Please, if you have questions, again, like we said last weekend, we're here for you. This is your time, members of the community. We're here to answer your questions. But this week, as I had mentioned, we are joined by our good friend and fearless leader, Steve. Say, hey, Steve.
I was being really polite because I was coughing a moment ago. I thought I'm not going to cough on camera. But hey, everyone, it's nice to be here on a Sunday on Crypto in 45. Nice to be here with you, Dale, at the second attempt after trying last week but failing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm really excited actually, to be honest.
So we do have some news, and Johnny did send us a message. He is out and about, and so he'll be joining us a little bit later. I'll be watching the panelists to see when maybe he might jump on, and we'll go ahead and get him added. So Crypto in 45, we kind of go around the horn when it comes to crypto news, and we're here to answer your questions, but I've always got to start at every little broadcast. Even though we're doing this for the community, we do have to start every broadcast by reminding everybody that none of the panelists that appear on Crypto in 45 on MDD are financial advisors. We are not providing financial or investing advice to you. We're simply sharing news and information, or maybe sharing what we are doing. But please always do your own research and do your own whatever process you make for making a decision when it comes to making a decision. Even when it comes to Crypto Agent Bot, we're simply providing, or they're simply providing recommendations, not trading advice. So are we cool with that, Steve?
I'm down with that completely. It's something that everyone should learn from the start. Basically, it's never a good idea just to follow someone blindly. Just do a bit of research. That's what Google's for. That's what the internet's for. And there's plenty of info out there as well that's not directly presented by us.
You know what? Hopefully we're able to do that on this weekly live stream. Is if you are new to cryptocurrency, or maybe you're crypto curious, you're not yet crypto serious, maybe you're crypto curious and you're just learning, getting your legs underneath you. But to introduce you to some news resources, news outlets, places that either Steve or myself or Johnny or any of the panelists go to get the information. Yeah, there's just a broad assortment of places that you can get news and information. However, as we did mention last week too, even if it's an article, take it with a grain of salt, because a single report on something could also be misleading, or it could be FUD. So we want to make you a responsible, educated, and informed investor when it comes to whatever you're looking at, whether it's ICOs or whatever. So, hey, Steve, you got anything you want to share before we get started? I don't want to jump too fast in case Johnny jumps in, but
yeah, appreciate. I mean, I don't know. I know you did send through the list of things you've got planned for today, but I was actually quite interested to read about a certain well-known person and his open honesty about his cryptocurrency holdings this week. I don't know if you saw that one. Elon Musk.
Yeah, do you want to screen share it?
Yeah. Bear with me a second.
And while we're doing this, please ask questions, right? Put your comments or questions in the space. I don't know how many people we got on right now, but a few. Maybe.
Yeah. Please feel welcome to, because at the end of the day, it gives us more to talk about, and obviously it gets those questions answered for yourselves. You know, there's no dumb question except the one that's not asked. So please do feel free to ask. But yeah, it came to light that Elon Musk has revealed his personal crypto holdings. I don't know how much he's totally revealed his personal, because I don't think if I ever had that kind of wealth in crypto, I don't think I would have revealed it all, given the amount of dodgy goings on with people being mugged, etc., for their crypto holdings these days. I agree. Reveal everything. I did actually read a feature. I can't remember where I read it now, but about a lot of wealthy crypto investors now have sort of safety wallets, where they've, say if they own 100 Bitcoin, they've got a wallet that's got 5 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin sat in it. And if they ever do get kind of in that situation where they're forced to hand over their Bitcoin wallet, they can hand over the small wallet, and then hopefully the bad guys will run away with the small wallet and they'll be quite happy. But yeah, I've forgotten how much it was now. I was trying to read through quickly, but
25 BTC. What is that? Not sure.
No, that's some. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 0.25 BTC.
0.25. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So this is his massive amount of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. I'm like Elon Musk apparently.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is it's literally the guy sort of not over involved in crypto, but it's showing that even people that are not involved are getting involved to some extent. But he's got a long way to go to catch up to us, hasn't he, with our 0.33 Bitcoin.
I definitely would see a person like Elon Musk that, even though he may not be heavily invested in cryptocurrency, he's probably heavily behind blockchain technology and companies that are involved in blockchain. And that was something that I was thinking about this morning here on the TV here this weekend. They were broadcasting all the governors from the states in the United States get together for their governors conference, and the CEO of IBM was kind of like their keynote to start the sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, I think, probably 3/4 of her talk to the governors was about the importance that blockchain was going to play to all the states' economies and the future of business. So she was definitely pro blockchain, as IBM would be. Yeah. She made a distinction between cryptocurrency and blockchain. And I think for the general discussion around cryptocurrency, that's fair. If we think no further than Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum. But if we look at cryptocurrencies and the altcoins, the utility tokens, like say VeChain, which we'll talk about a little bit later, something like VeChain or Stratus or something like that, which has a true utilitarian purpose on the blockchain. Now you can still play a role in that blockchain development as an investor in that cryptocurrency or holder, without, not everything has to be about payments.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I mentioned before, especially if you're new to cryptocurrency, it's very, very easy to get hyper focused on Bitcoin. And we will look at the charts a little bit later. I've been pushing out the charting to the end of these things, simply because you can spend so much time in the charts, even though there's really not a whole lot to look at this week, in my opinion. But yeah, you got to. I would hope that people are looking beyond payment and to the bigger blockchain. Oh, and to the other thing, Steve, you also mentioned that's one thing that we've never talked about to the community or even given recommendations on is wallets and how to store your funds. It's something we really don't talk about much because me personally, I don't keep everything. We do tell you don't keep everything on the exchanges. And I hope to God we told you don't keep everything on Coinbase.
I tried telling everyone that for about 12 months of my life, and then I kind of got sick of my own voice on that one.
Exactly. If we haven't said that, it's on video now. Please don't keep your stuff on Coinbase and don't put it on the exchange. But we haven't talked about things like, whether it's a hardware wallet. We haven't talked about wallets like Exodus, or even, because you had mentioned the idea of keeping some cryptocurrency easily available on a wallet and keeping other things maybe on another wallet that's a bit harder to get to, which now you could get into paper wallets or things like that. And we understand maybe if you're new, your holdings in cryptocurrency aren't that large, but I would say it's a good practice to get into anyway, regardless of how much you hold.
Yeah, it's something that I've done, not necessarily intentionally, but I've done it from quite an early age as a crypto investor. I've had and still have about 7 or 8 different wallets.
Oh,
but I'm a person that likes to siphon different funds for different reasons. So if I'm saving funds, I wouldn't keep it in the same wallet as trading funds. If I have plans to invest, I'd put them in a separate wallet as well. Some wallets themselves, like Blockchain, has the option to set up 75,000 different sub-wallets in there if you want to. So that solves that issue for me. But I feel it kind of, I don't know, when you're talking about an online wallet, no matter how good it is or how safe you may feel it is, you never know one day if you turn your wallet on and for some reason it's been switched off, the site's been switched off and you can't access it anymore. If you've got, I mean, if you own your private keys, it's a different matter because obviously you can access those in numerous different ways.
Yeah.
But the kind of like the Coinbases and even to an extent the blockchains, because the blockchain's not the easiest place to get your private key from anymore. It's a good thing to not hold a massive amount in each one.
I don't know if you're ever going to get to, even for myself, and I don't know if anybody ever gets to the point where there's not that moment of nervousness when you're first logging into a wallet. Let's suppose it's an online, it's not a hot wallet, but it's not a cold wallet either, something like Exodus. It's online when you're online, but otherwise, it's on your local computer. I don't know if anybody ever gets to the point where you don't get that moment of anticipation waiting for your money to show up in your wallet, right? It's kind of like, I'm logged in. Oh, it says 0. Oh, here it comes. Now
just catching up.
Oh, it's there. Okay, good. Versus a paper wallet, just like logging into my Ether wallet or something like that. No matter what. But yeah, I would say that even if you're getting started, take the time now to educate yourself about different types of wallets, and get into the practice of how you want to store your funds elsewhere. So we did just get a question, and it is from Mr. John Smith. Hello, Mr. John Smith. Welcome.
Hey, John. How you doing, buddy?
45. Glad you could join us today. Where do we feel crypto is headed? And I've noticed that the trades are placed when the market is going up and not down. So we'll get into, I tend to hold off CAB and trading related stuff towards the end because it's easy for us to fall down that rabbit hole. But where do we think the crypto is headed?
To the moon. To the moon, of course.
To the moon. Yeah, it's going to eventually pass the Tesla that's up there in orbit right now, right? I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, there's articles that came out this morning, and really, we'll look at the charts, and we can look at the charts. We can read articles. We can look towards all this kind of stuff, but nobody can predict this. And now, we've been saying, because the sentiment was, I don't know. Did you see my T-shirt?
Love it.
All right. We've been saying, hey, just take a chill pill. January kind of knocked us for a loop. February, just take a chill through February. It'll get better by the end of the month. And then March and April will be great. I don't know. Now there's predictions that it's going to be April or May before these indicators. We'll look at the chart. There's just nothing on the dailies that indicate there's a reversal on or a significant movement in one way or another in any obvious state where we can say, yep, there it is, and now we're moving. So we'll get to the charts a little bit later, but overall the sentiment, and Steve, tell me, you just said it's to the moon. I think everybody in the crypto space that's been involved in the cryptocurrency space all echo the same sentiment, is that 2018 is going to be better than 2017.
Yeah, it's definitely the resounding sort of agreeable point that everyone's got in the space, but it's really testing. We taught people patience in the back end of 2017, and we'll be teaching patience all the way through, but this is really testing my levels of patience at the moment, and in wonders as to why we're still not waking up with a big smile on our face in the morning and having that reversal that we've been looking for. But it is all a case of, if you wait, it will get better. But it's just a case of no one can tell you exactly how long you need to wait before it does. Yeah.
And I think it was a lesson learned too, because there was a lot of opinions were being echoed, is that, just wait till the Chinese New Year is over and everything will go back to normal and everything will be fine. I think we need to accept the fact that we're operating in a very dynamic ecosystem that is not 100% based on one piece of news or another piece of news. And I mentioned this last week too, is that you as an investor, a trader and an investor, think about your strategy regardless of what direction the market is going. You know, don't just be not a side effect, but you know, don't let everything that you're doing be completely taken over by moving the market one direction or the other. Have a strategy, and that strategy might be HODL, right? That it might just be as simple as I'm not going to do anything. And sometimes doing nothing is the best decision you can make.
Yeah, that's true. The absolute opposite to that is panic jumping into decisions and not thinking about them quickly. You know, if you see something's going down and think quick, you better sell it quick, and then it turns around before you even notice it, and then you've missed out on the upside of it again.
Yep.
You know, it definitely takes a lot of research and experience to be able to make solid decisions. And there's a lot of people obviously around our circles at the moment who are new in the crypto. There's a lot of people in general who are new in the crypto scene who are really kind of looking at things with stars in their eyes and thinking, what the heck is going on here? You know, it goes up, it flies up, it drops down, it goes all over the place, it's coming up, and then people tell us it's safe, and then it's going back down again, and then, but this is the world of a crypto enthusiast, really. It's a roller coaster. It's the simplest way to explain it, and it's true.
It is, and it's probably going to prove the fact that right now, the skill of patience is probably a harder skill to acquire than learning how to read the charts.
Yes.
You know, and so even though we love you all dearly, and we're glad that you're members of our community, and we're here to support you, if at the same time we're all traders and we're all looking at our individual strategies. So I'm also going to say that if there's a population of people out there that don't have the patience, or they're not willing to hold, you know, if you're going to sell and that just gives me an opportunity to buy it at a cheaper price, then I'm okay with that. Right? I mean, because that's just the nature of the beast. We wouldn't encourage you to do that. Anybody here, hopefully, but you know, it can be dog eat dog. So let's go around the horn. How about that? Let's get some news. We just did Mr. Elon, and I'm going to go to my screen share and share that, and we'll close that. We don't need him anymore. I'm going to go, don't need that. Sometimes my browser gets a little bit slow. Here we go.
Just before we go any further, just spotted a couple more questions, but just to let you guys know, we will come back to your questions after we've done the few bits of news that we're going to talk about, I think.
Absolutely. And because I'm on the screen share, Steve, are you watching the chat part? Because I don't know. I'm not seeing if Johnny should come in. I can't. So here was a news item that we had talked about. It wasn't last weekend. It was the weekend before about some news. So we're just going to go around the horn on some news items. This was a news item from CCN. The Wyoming House unanimously passes a bill exempting utility tokens from security laws. So, and maybe this was a few episodes ago where we talked about Wyoming proposing a bill that was going to be very, very forgiving of utility tokens when it came to tax laws there. And actually, it passed on Monday. It passed, I think it passed their House, and now it's going to the Senate. But it was a 60-0 vote, unanimously passed this exempting. And as usual, too, on these articles, I will post them. I'll probably throw them in a blog post and throw them in MDD. So if anybody wants to read any of these articles in depth, please do that. This was House Bill 70, passed on Monday with a 60-0 vote, and now will head to the Senate. Explicitly exempts utility tokens from state security regulations, a key factor in attracting ICO launches to the state, which is interesting to me that it was an ICO thing and it was in the United States.
Very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Is it interesting enough for me to want to move to Wyoming? I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Big question on everyone's lips.
Yeah, that means that I have to go buy a cowboy hat and all sorts of things, and I don't know if I want to go through all that. But the point was in this article was this was the first state that was really putting together some laws. None of the other states in the U.S. had really put together any kind of laws to set a precedent. Now the question is, will this House Bill 70 out of Wyoming be a precedent for other states to follow? That's the question. So we already reported a while back, a couple of weeks ago, that the state of Arizona was going to make it possible to pay state taxes using cryptocurrency. Now we have Wyoming doing this. So this is good news. And it makes sense if you're in Wyoming, right? This is an opportunity for you to create your own cryptocurrency, Silicon Valley, and bring people. Because I believe, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I believe the cattle population in Wyoming outnumbers the people. I don't know. I'm thinking that might be the case, but anyway.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's possible. This next article. So we go from Wyoming, and I don't want to make the articles that I put up, I certainly don't want to make this all about the United States, so I want to try and get other stuff. This was something that Johnny had wanted to share. This was Israel confirms cryptocurrency will be taxed as property, not as currency. Oh, so before we leave Wyoming, Steve, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it was just a little side thought, not particularly on Wyoming, but just on what you touched on about setting precedents, really, that with all the kind of the bad mootings that we have coming from the states with securities and everything not being allowed, etc., and all kinds of companies moving away from the states and not allowing US members to join or making them leave. It would be interesting to kind of get some kind of ground rules down there, wouldn't it? And if that's the start of it, then I'm all for it. Whether it be good or bad, at least we would know where we stand.
Yeah.
That's the problem at the moment, isn't it? It's literally no one knows the exact rulings on what is right and what isn't right, and really why they're having so many rulings on them. So yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see that.
I think the unfair part for that is as it's going currently, due to a lack of clarity from the legal standpoint, I think as a default, most ICOs, and there could be a few that are an exemption to this, but correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But at this point, pretty much any ICO is saying if you're in the United States, you're not welcome to the reindeer games on this one. Maybe if there's more clarity, but I don't know if they're going to say, oh, okay, any other state other than Wyoming, you're not do it, but Wyoming you can. I don't know if the ICO teams are going to be that dialed in on regulations from state to state. The other crappy thing too is that we could have a number of states that come with very, very open, progressive laws towards cryptocurrency, and then the federal government come in and pass their law, and now we have that conflict between state law and federal law, much like we have around marijuana with, legalized marijuana versus federally illegal marijuana. So I don't know. I don't know.
Would reign even more, wouldn't it?
Yep. But again, it's all about precedent at this point. So Israel confirms cryptocurrency will be taxed as property, not currency. Israel's interesting because there's actually a lot of development in Israel. Let me see. I'm going to jump over to. Hold on. Oh, so let's take a look here because this was Johnny's article, so I really haven't read this. So let's see what this says here. The Israel Tax Authority (ITA) confirmed yesterday, February 19th. So that would have been Monday, in a professional circular that the country will tax cryptocurrencies as property. The tax authority had released a draft on today's circular, January 12th. Referred to virtual currency as units used for barter that can be used for investment purposes per se. So here we go again. This time this is Israel making a point on this. this is another article I'll go ahead and post if anyone wants to read more about that. So, tell you what, are you looking in the
chat? Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on it. It's just, we don't seem to have anything new. We've
That's
just
no,
got the one from before.
In the actual live stream, do you see anybody else that's come on as a panelist?
No, I don't think it would show, would it? Because
all right, hold on. Let me go. I'm gonna go to the control room. All right.
John, he did say be with us shortly. That was 8 minutes ago.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing real quick, and I'm gonna go in here.
No.
Nope, I don't see anybody. Okay. Back to screen share. Okay, so I had mentioned, I told Johnny I was going to do a little bank bashing this weekend. So he's missing out on this one right now. So here was an article that came out. This was on Tuesday. Yeah. Poland Central Bank admits to sponsoring a smear campaign.
Naughty.
On cryptocurrencies. I don't know. There's a lot to say about this, but I don't know if anybody that's from the crypto community would really be surprised by this.
No, you shouldn't be anyway. Yeah. What surprises me is that more institutions haven't been found out for doing it yet.
Well, yeah,
I'm sure that will come.
I have to believe that if there's one, there's many.
Yes.
You know, and there's been some articles that cited about smaller banks looking towards cryptocurrency as a way for them to take on the big banks. And so they're more open towards cryptocurrency. But here we have a central bank that's actually investing money on derailing cryptocurrency. And that should really, you know, I know sometimes I come off really libertarian and really anti-government, but I don't know how to express enough the fact that pay attention to the fact that there's going to have to be a battle that comes between. I mean, it's not an either or sometimes. And I don't think the banks are willing to give up so easily and say, you know what, you're right, cryptocurrency is superior, and we're just going to roll over and go away. It's just not going to happen, folks.
No,
and I think this is part of that FUD that we're going to have to weather. And you're convinced in the validity and the veracity of cryptocurrency, or you're not. And hopefully articles like this demonstrate that it's an unfair game. And I'm not saying it has to be fair, but I'm saying if we accept the fact that it's unfair, we can look at this like adults more than, you know, naive kids.
Yeah, you got the right sort of playing field there. Then you know where you stand. Well, I say you know where you do. You know where you stand. Literally, you know you're the underdog. You know, crypto's the underdog. You said about the banks aren't going to give up a fight. I mean, there's been a lot of kind of regulations coming in the UK, at least in the last sort of 15 to 20 years, that have stopped the banks from levying a lot of the charges they were quite happily getting away with. I don't know, for example, you know, for people that didn't have any money in their account, being charged sort of £30 for a non-delivered direct debit, which then took their account into further arrears, and then they got charged. Yeah, and then they got charged a monthly unauthorized overdraft fee. So by the time you get around to your next pay packet, all you're literally doing is clearing off last month's fees, and then they come back in again and they hit you with the same fees again. So you end up stuck in this continuous cycle. So that's kind of been stopped now in the UK. So they've lost a lot of their income and revenue through that. And they can obviously see now that they will lose a lot of their income and revenue in future as cryptocurrency takes away the transfer charges and similar associated fees as well. So
doesn't that really though tell you the story of how much of a scam it really is? And I would bet, Steve, that they would have continued to do it had nobody called them on it.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And I think they've still got away. There was a massive spate for about 10 years of a huge thing in the UK of people being told they could claim it back and get their money back. And you know, I nearly said make some money on it then, because you know, when you claimed it back, it felt like you were making some money. You know, you got sort of like £1,500 back in one go. But what you forget is that £1,500 has been taken away from you over a period of 2 or 3 years, and it's put you under so much stress and strain in your household at home or whatever, and it's hardly, you don't get, there was no compensation for it. You literally just got back what they took off you. So
Well,
it's a crazy situation. Or it was a crazy situation, and there's probably thousands and thousands of people who didn't get their money back because they didn't know they could.
now let me ask you. So let's peel that onion a little bit further. They're willing to, they did you a favor by giving you your money back, right?
Yeah.
All right. They did you a favor by doing that.
Only if you asked for it, though. Only if you asked for it,
But Chet,
and proved it as well with all the statements. Yeah.
but did they offer to share any of the money that they made off of lending out your money, the interest that people paid on the loans that the bank issued using your money? I mean, to me, that's a bigger part of the scam, is that, yeah, it's, yeah. Anyway, let's
Don't peel that onion too much, Dale. You'll be crying, buddy.
It drives me crazy. So let's go to some questions before we go on to the next news items.
Sure.
Okay. Waiting for the questions to come up here.
Do you want me to take the first one while I've got it on screen?
Yeah, I'm looking for the questions to come up and they're not coming up on my phone. So
That's okay. Johnny Virch is asking us what would be the fastest way to convert cash and obtain Bitcoin to get it transferred into his exchange for trading. It really depends on where you are. It's not a simple answer, is it really, that one? Different countries have different rules for how you can obtain Bitcoin. I know, for instance, in the US, it's very hard to get Bitcoin in less than a few days, whereas in the UK, I can buy it instantly. I think Johnny's actually in the US, actually. Yeah, he's in the States, so you might be a better place to answer that one, Dale. I don't know.
yeah, that's pretty much the case. You really kind of have, we're probably going to have more options coming up, but at this point, it is pretty much Coinbase or Gemini are your options. If you're in one of the states that you can use GDAX, then you have some options there with Coinbase as well. Now, I think I believe it was this week, Robinhood did open up in a few states. I think it was like only 5 states. So what I would say is, if you're looking for alternative methods, check out Robinhood. Just do a Google Robinhood cryptocurrency, and I'm sure some articles will come up. You might be in a state where you still have to go on the wait list to do it. So that's another option there too. But the question is this just about Bitcoin? I mean, if we're talking about going fiat to Bitcoin versus another cryptocurrency. So we're kind of limited presently, but I think more options are going to be coming out going forward. Because at some point, I don't know. I mean, we often mention decentralized exchanges. There might be some great opportunities coming up there too. Yeah.
It's I believe Bittrex are due to open up US dollar deposits soon as well, aren't they? So
yeah, but until we see some information about that, I am solely convinced that unless you're a larger player and you're going to be able to put in a minimum of 10,000 or 15 or 20,000, maybe even higher, I really, really struggle with the idea that Bittrex is going to be saying, oh yeah, you want to do $100 deposit? Come on.
Right? Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the massive system work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they want you, folks. If you're just the average Joe that says, oh, I'm going to do $500, I'm sure they're going to have pretty steep minimums in order to do USD deposits. I could be wrong on that, but we haven't seen anything. But that's just my sense. I know Kevin uses a site to
he actually does some selling of Bitcoin on our site, but I can't remember what the site's called, so it's probably pointless me even mentioning it. But if you are struggling, Johnny, sorry, I forgot your name there for a second. If you are struggling, Johnny, then just send me a PM and I'll put you in touch with Kevin and see if Kevin can help you out there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm still not, for some reason, my questions aren't coming up for me. Was there anything else that we have in there?
Yeah, well, I want to say good morning to Janita. She's up nice and early in the Australian, I would say warmth, because isn't it always warm in Australia? Yep.
Janita gets a gold star. She gets a gold star because she's with us every weekend.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. That's amazing. Well done, Janita. Well done. John's come back with a question. Do you feel we should learn how to read the graphs? Yeah, it's do we feel? I mean, if you want to, I don't know what's the best way to put this. You don't have to learn how to read graphs, but it can help in the more learned discussions. Learning to read a basic graph probably won't help you predict much as far as Bitcoin or trading is concerned. It's depth of art that you need to put some time into to be able to actually kind of start predicting or start reading where things are going. But it's your field, if you're a crypto enthusiast, if it's like if you're a bike enthusiast, you read about bikes, you learn about bikes, what size the engine is, you learn about how a bike works. It's all part of how the crypto system works. So, yeah.
Here's my opinion on that is.
What Johnny's here?
Hey.
How did he get straight in? How did he get straight in?
1 second, lads. I've just got to put the little man's car seat on, and I'll be with you.
We were going all professional all the way through, and we get Johnny. Hello, John.
I do not believe that for a second. You guys are professional, no way.
Hey, we were looking good till you showed up, mate.
Yeah, it's all going to go to hell now. But so I would say that, from the Crypto Agent Bot standpoint, really, Crypto Agent Bot was created in the mute.
Hurry up!
But
Right, hold on here.
We got it.
Oh, okay.
No, what's he doing? Johnny, just keep yourself on mute till you're ready, buddy. Your background noise is really loud, bud.
So while Crypto Agent Bot, really the idea behind the trade recommendations that you get on Telegram were to make it possible to trade cryptocurrencies without in-depth knowledge of the markets or how to read trading charts or do technical analysis. That's really the point. But at the same time, I would say you should never not take efforts to make yourself a more informed, stronger trader on your own. One of the things that I think we try and encourage is for you to be the best investor and trader that you can be. And if getting comfortable with reading the charts, just understanding, I mean, if you're reading some blogs and somebody's doing an article about their TA of a particular token, just so you can understand, and I'm not saying that you don't, I mean, I'm just going on the question. So I don't know your comfort level with trading charts. But even if it's enough knowledge to understand what the hell they're talking about, then that's fine. Then you're good with that. But as you mature and as you grow as a trader, just reading the charts is really the beginning. Being able to use the charts to develop a trading strategy of your own, that's going to the next level. And we did talk last week, maybe it was last week or the week before, about how to use the order books in order to see what is going on with a particular token. Because the charts, the candles, even if you go down to the 1 minute candle, all it's telling you is what's happened in the last minute. They're always going to be lagging indicators. And we'll look at the charts in a little bit. But when you look at things like order books, you see what the future of that is, for the next, half hour, 45 minutes. So I don't know. I would encourage you, never stop learning. never stop learning. Do you have to? No, you don't. But you shouldn't use that as a reason not to learn the charts, because I don't know, it's your money.
But yeah, I mean, you can say the same for everything in life, really, can't you? You know, if we go and hide behind "I don't have to" with absolutely everything in life, we would never get anywhere, would we?
Right.
So, you know, it's a general sort of observation that works well.
You could think of the same way with the like auto repair. I don't know really much about cars, but you need to go to a mechanic that you trust, that's not going to try and sell you, a gallon of blinker fluid for, $12 a gallon or something like that. Anyway, okay.
I think Johnny's ready to come on, Dale. If you can switch his camera on, please.
All right, do I have to do that? All right. Do I have to switch his camera on? Holy cow. All right, Johnny. Wait a minute. All right, Johnny, try it now. There he is. No microphone, though.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there he is, and he's driving, and he's in a natural state. He's driving.
I'm not actually the one driving tonight. I'm just making change.
All right. So
just went out for dinner tonight with the mother-in-law and stuff for our birthday. So yeah, we're literally just getting back now. So it was kind of a mad dash to try and get back before you guys finished up.
Oh, we'll be here. We'll be here. We just started bashing the banks, and I was going to, kind of hold off for you to get here so you could participate in that. But yeah, we just talked about the central bank in Poland admitting the fact that they were spending money on a smear campaign against cryptocurrency. So yeah, what do you think about that?
It doesn't surprise me, man. Like, we know the tactics that these guys employ. They know exactly what cryptocurrency is. I can't remember who it was. One of the banks came out this week and said that they see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for what it is. Hold on a second, mate. Sorry. Yeah, so they understand what cryptocurrency is and they see it as a threat. So, and that was one of the biggest banks in the world saying that. So if they're saying that, it's only natural to assume the rest of the banks are probably thinking along similar lines. So yeah, it's not surprising.
I think these large banks talk to one another quite frequently. I believe they all share a very similar attitude towards cryptocurrency. Matter of fact, one of the things I'll share in a bit is we'll get into one of those big banks and some of the things that came out this week about that. So we just did John. So John, hopefully that answered your question. And on these videos, we do talk about TradingView and some of the other tools that you can use for chart trading. Maybe in the future one, we'll talk about how to use just real basic functionality in TradingView for you. Janita said, I think a lot of governments and banks are up to no good at the moment regarding crypto. Janita, we are with you 100% on that.
Yeah, Janita, she knows the score.
Yeah. Daryl says, I might have missed some bits in the beginning. What's your thoughts of info that's come through on the U.S. Senator is taking cryptocurrency issues to discuss at the G20? Does anybody know anything about that one?
Oh, wasn't it Secretary of State or something like that will be, it's going to be bringing up cryptocurrency at the next G20 meeting. Discussing about whether or not it's like a problem that they need to address or whether it's something that they can use.
Now, was that something that the CAB team had posted in Telegram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read this as said, on U.S. senator is taking crypto, and I thought that was something about some U.S. senator accepting crypto. I mean, there are some politicians that you can fund their campaign with cryptocurrency, but gosh, that goes back to like 2013 that some started doing that, at least in the U.S.
Well, I don't know about. I've not seen any. That might be the case in the US, but in the UK, I've not seen any politicians that up on crypto.
Yeah,
it might be for the next election, though, with any luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So yes, you are right. That was something that was posted in Telegram. Yeah, there's a lot of eyes on the G20 coming up. There's a lot of eyes on the G20. So, all right. So that's it for questions right now. And it says, Janita says, I love this guy. Well, Janita, we love the fact that you're with us. So here we go. Okay. So this is a little piece I want to share before we get into my big banking thing. I'll go back to my screen share. And hopefully this works. As usually the things I try don't work. So we'll cancel that. I'm going to try and bring this up. Am I going to have to do this? All right. Bear with me, folks. All right, this is one of my favorite guys to not like. If it'll come up. Are you kidding me? All right, I'm going to try and get this one to come up. But this was the Bank of America. Hold on, let me try something here. I'm going to try doing this in an incognito window. All right, now listen carefully to what this guy says. This is the CEO of Bank of America. Can you guys all hear me all right? You guys all went mute.
With Bitcoin going mainstream this year, big banks are struggling with how to manage the explosive growth of the digital currency. We asked Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan about it when we sat down with him for an exclusive interview.
When you talk about digital movement of money, 1/2 of the money moved by consumers today at Bank of America is moved digitally. 1/2. This is not something new. When you get to an anonymous currency, that's a different question. And that's a policy question of whether we want an anonymous currency out there of size and scale and scope. And that's what you're starting to see people struggle with.
Do you think we do? Do you think we want it?
I don't think you want it. I think the reason why the $100 bill was the largest denomination of bills was to make money more difficult to move other than through a verifiable system. And I think that is a lesson a lot of economies have learned over time as they brought their denominations down to improve the transparency of the economy, the ability to track it, the ability to find the money, the ability to have it come through in that huge AML and KYC work we do and the industry does. And it helps you find all kinds of interesting things. And that.
All right, so he just went on, the clip a little bit further, talking about KYC, AML, all that kind of stuff. Me personally, I'm getting really, really tired of the banks playing the KYC, AML card to justify their existence and why they're so important. All they care about is how much money moves through their system and how much money they can make moving that money through their system. So if you heard what he said in the beginning, and I'm on my soapbox a little bit here because I really, really don't like this guy, but for him to say, oh, I really don't think they want it. I don't think people really know what they want. So no, do they really want it? Yeah, we want it, right? That's the whole point of what we're doing. We want this. I
kind of find what he said there to be absolutely ridiculous as well, because I've never been involved in anything where I've had to put my details and my passport and my identity details into so much than when I joined stuff that was to do with Bitcoin.
all of my Bitcoin stuff, it is linked to me.
is probably more traceable than my actual bank account.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean. Literally everything that I've done, I've had to do in order to withdraw what I want to withdraw or deposit what I want to deposit. I've had to give them my details. I've had to give them proof of address. I've had to give them my passport details and stuff like that. And in effect, it's just exactly the same as what you need to open a bank account. It's no different.
Yep. And so that was from back on December 21st. That interview on Bloomberg was from back on December 21st. So here's some of a couple articles that came out this week from the Bank of America. This guy's bank, they're filing to the SEC where they admit that Bank of America believes that Bitcoin, and we'll say cryptocurrency. I know everybody uses the term Bitcoin, but they use it. It's synonymous with cryptocurrency. I don't care if it's Monero, Lumen, whatever, right? Cryptocurrency. But here they are admitting to the SEC and the world right now that, Bank of America feels that Bitcoin is a threat to their business. And that's really all they care about. They don't really care about KYC, AML.
This is what I actually read earlier in the week. Well, I think it was, it was either earlier this week or the back end of last week I actually read this, It was this story I read.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
definitely interesting though. If they're now admitting this stuff after the months and months and months of smear campaigns and telling people that the only people that invest in Bitcoin are criminals and terrorists and all of that absolute rubbish, and now they're investing in it themselves as well as preparing themselves for the fact that this technology is a threat to their current system, then we're on the right track.
Absolutely. And for me, I'm surprised by these articles because going back to when I first got involved in cryptocurrency, to me, that was the whole point of this, right? Was to come up with a system, was a question, can we do this better? Can we do this without the banks? Can we do this without this centralized environment? And the banks, I guess, are realizing that, they're really, this actually has some potential to disrupt our business. And that to me, I thought that was the whole point of this.
It was for some of us.
Yeah. So we go to this one. This one was another one. Bank of America. Bank of America, our inability to adapt could see failure to compete with cryptocurrency.
Michael, sorry.
That's all right. So there you go. This is just another example. This was February 23rd, this week as well. So first of all, they were saying that, cryptocurrency is a threat to our business. And now they're coming out at almost an admission of saying we're based on our archaic systems, we're not able to adapt and change our business model in order to compete with cryptocurrency. So I don't know if that's necessarily an admission saying that cryptocurrency presents a superior model to the banks. I don't know. And I'm sure banks are always going to have their place. But this is why that fight is happening. Banks are feeling threatened. So, what do you think, Johnny? Steve has left us.
No, he's here. I've just, I think it's made me the host.
Oh, I'll take it back.
Bear with me. I've just tried to get him to start his video again.
Oh, okay.
I can press start my video, but it's not working.
All right, sorry about that. I'll make you a host.
Sorry, bud.
There
we go. I've started my video just to say goodbye, guys, because I've got to get going because I'm burning food in the background.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me on, Dale. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Johnny, for providing entertainment towards the back ender.
Always.
Take care, everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you.
See you later, bud.
So I'm just popping in to see if we got any new questions. Okay, so nothing new. So there you go. Those are a couple articles about the banks. We talked about this Polish central bank, and we talked about Bitcoin. Bank of America, and I'm sure banks all over the place are the same way. The only banks that seem to be doing right now, I mean, it's the bank in Venezuela. Who knows? They've been told by the government, you got to take cryptocurrency. So who knows?
Yeah. See, I think when it comes to the banks and cryptocurrency, I think they're all being shady as hell. They're all saying, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that. Cryptocurrencies this, cryptocurrencies that." Whilst at the same time, they are plowing millions and millions and millions into it. If that's where they're putting their money, that's where you should put your money. You know what I mean? When they start pulling their money out of stuff, that's when you should be worried, because the banks only go where the money is. If they're plowing their money into Bitcoin, they're plowing their money into cryptocurrencies because they know there's money to be made there.
Yep. I find it quite ironic too, because we've got another large bank here in North America called Wells Fargo. As a matter of fact, there's very large offices here in the city that I live in. So if we talk about nefarious use of cryptocurrency, Wells Fargo had consistently got in trouble of, their executives telling their frontline staff to open up fake accounts for people. And those news items, I think, kind of get, I'm not going to say, no, hey, everybody. Those fake accounts, I think, but I mean, that kind of news kind of tends to get forgotten when we start talking about cryptocurrency. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. Okay, so let's go to the next item. I'm going to go back to my screen share. So that's Bank of America. Okay, so now on to some good news, or news that I liked anyway. If anybody wants to go to, all right, hold on, waiting for my screen to come up. Doop. All right, so if anybody wants to go to Antigua and gamble, there is a gambling mogul set to build There is a cryptocurrency mogul that's planning on creating a multi-million-dollar casino in Antigua where you can gamble exclusively with cryptocurrency. So maybe I'll see you in Antigua. I don't know. I don't know where there we go. Gambling mogul set to build a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin-funded resort in Antigua. I think they're going to actually put like crypto ATMs in the casino. And the 5-star beach resort will accept payments in Bitcoin Cash at POS terminals within the resort, as well as online platforms for booking and reservation. So I have never been to Antigua. If anybody's been to Antigua, go ahead and let us know if it's a nice place in the chat, because it sounds like a place that I would want to go. See here. Oops. All right. So there's a little Johnny there.
Yeah, little Johnny's there.
There's a little Johnny. Hey, buddy.
Say hi.
I want to tell you something. Hello.
Okay.
I want to just tell you something. I sounded like just oh.
All right, okay, now go to bed now. Give me a kiss.
He likes
Sorry.
He's
That's all right.
He likes
Yeah, that sounds really awesome though. The only thing is like, is it going to be ATM based? So you've got to you've got to withdraw cash from that, or is it going to be like, I don't know, like you input your, I don't know, you input something into like a machine maybe or whatever, and you use your credits and it takes it straight from your Bitcoin account or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not really sure how he's going to do that.
It's a luxurious Antigua Valley Church beach area. I don't know. If anybody's been to Antigua, let us know if it's nice. It sounds nice when I look outside. I think it sounds nice to me right now.
Antigua, it's a lovely place to go and visit, I've heard. I just don't know how how they're gonna manage that. I mean, obviously, if there's ATMs, it's pretty much like having just going and taking money out with your cash card or whatever. But
pretty much,
if he's gonna have an actual like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency like casino, I assume that, I don't know, somehow you'll put in like, I don't know, some kind of details or whatever, and it will automatically take payment from your Bitcoin account. Maybe I'm not really sure.
Unless part of your check-in is you link your, I mean, because it does say here Bitcoin Cash. So if you maybe link your wallet or link an account or something like that where you can transfer money from your Bitcoin Cash wallet into this and get payments out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird one because like obviously like when you go to a hotel and you check in and they've got your credit card details or whatever. Like if you use the minibar, if you order room service, all of that kind of extra stuff. Upon checkout, they just take it out. Or even after you leave, sometimes like they'll take it out 2 or 3 days later and try and do a crafty one or whatever. It happens over here all the time. I don't know about in the States. But in terms of that, how are they going to? I'm not sure how they're going to do it because you know what I mean. It's one of those weird ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Will they ask you for payment at every single point, like of like wanting something? Will they ask you, like if you order room service, you want breakfast sent to your room or whatever? Are they going to be like, okay, just give us your Bitcoin Cash wallet number and we'll. You know what I mean? Or,
it's hard to say. I will say. I mean, this doesn't. And I don't know if it doesn't link to anything that. It doesn't link to anything that you can look at right now. So at this point, this is just kind of somebody's. I think this is just somebody's dream of something they want to do. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's any solid plans, but it does say here that the Bitcoin-funded luxury resort will not be designed to be an all-inclusive resort, as its amenities will be made available to Antiguan residents and visitors alike. So it doesn't look like it's going to be all crypto. But it's all it says right here is that build a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin-funded resort. So who knows?
Oh, he's probably just made a load of money in Bitcoin and he's going to open a new resort. Really,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, this article talks about a little bit about his background. So anyway, just kind of an interesting little thing there. So we already talked about your Israel thing, Johnny. The that it's going to be.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I just thought that was just an interesting aspect for them to classify it the way they did, and I wonder whether other countries will eventually follow suit on that.
You know, it was an interesting dovetail to. We did report the first article we talked about was the bill in Wyoming passing 60-0. Now it's off to the Senate. What does that mean for setting precedent for laws for other states, and then waiting for the federal government to come in? Now we have Israel taking a position on that, and I'm sure we've got so many countries to go through and so many governments to go through in 2018.
That Wyoming thing blew my mind. I have never seen any issue in any state or state, I don't know, what is it called? State legislature or state government or state senate or whatever it is that they call them. I've never seen anything passed unanimously before, ever. Because all topics in America are so divisive. It's the right take one position, the left take another position, and they argue like hell over it until somebody gets their eyes scratched out in the car park.
No way. I've watched the parliamentary sessions from over in the UK. They're pretty lively.
Oh yeah, that's nothing compared to C-SPAN, man. I've watched C-SPAN for years. Like honestly, the insults that they chuck towards each other, they're so cutting. Like at least in Parliament in England, like they veil it with like sarcasm and that kind of stuff.
Well,
and
they call them the honorable gentleman or the honorable gentle lady or whatever.
Yeah, the right honourable gentleman. Even though 99% of the people that are actually sitting in our Parliament, there's nothing honourable about any single one of them. Yeah. But it's the way it is.
We just completely lack decorum here in the United States. That's what I would say. But
I would say a healthy medium in between that is probably where we should be.
Yeah.
Like none of this honourable gentleman crap. Like it's not 1792.
Yeah. But I think to this, the fact that it passed 60-0, well, we really don't know what was in the minds of the legislators when they passed this or how it was presented to them. But it sounds like, they obviously have a lot to gain if they can be really progressive towards cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency investors. That's going to help them entice cryptocurrency or blockchain-based businesses to come to Wyoming. They have a lot to gain in the long run. And I think this is a pretty wise move, but I will agree with you. For something to pass unanimously is pretty rare. Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, like obviously, when we spoke in our chat earlier on, you mentioned the fact that obviously Wyoming, there's not really a lot going on there. It's a lot of farmers and stuff like that. So obviously the senators or whoever it is, the council, I'm not really sure exactly how it works over there, but those guys are obviously thinking about getting investment into the state.
Yep.
Which is great for them. I don't think it'll become like some I don't know, crypto haven in America or anything like that, because the money tends to stay, I've noticed, in America, it stays on the East Coast and the West Coast. That's where the money stays. So if there's a new innovative technology, the hub of that innovative technology will be based either in New York, Washington DC, or over in California. That's just the way it goes. And I don't think that will change. But if it gets the state more investment, and obviously a lot of Bitcoin-based companies and a lot of Bitcoin projects, they don't really need a lot of space or anything like that. They're not opening big warehouses and stuff. All they're basically doing is that they're renting a small unit and they're having their servers there.
Yeah, they could probably open a corporate office in Wyoming and say, okay, we're based in Wyoming. Especially if you're a blockchain development business, you're going to have it'd be very difficult for but everybody's got a price, I guess, but it'd be probably difficult to entice your talent to move from California or wherever to Wyoming. So, but anyway, and maybe this just is just a pink elephant or something like that. I mean, they passed the law because hell, why not? Whether it's going to have any impact, who knows? So
remains to be seen.
Yep. So what I was going to do now, I was going to talk about, we had talked about a few coins in the past. This is one of the coins that I've been talking about. And maybe that's something that we can talk about in the future. We talked about, Stratus and Thumbs, things like that. And maybe every week we talk about a few coins, but I thought VeChain was an interesting project I was reading about. In my normal business, I work with through my marketing agency. I have some clients which are large manufacturing clients of consumer products, and VeChain was, to me, a really interesting project in fighting counterfeit products, making it into the ecosystem. And it basically allows you to track a product from manufacturer all the way to the store shelf, and for the consumer to be able to verify that this is the real thing. It's not a knockoff or a fake version. So VeChain I thought was interesting.
I like this coin. I really like this coin. I'm actually in a group. Guy that runs it, his name's Ash Davidson. He's a really good guy. He does a lot of research. Whenever he gets into any coin, he does a lot of research beforehand. And he's a big, big advocate of this coin. He loves VeChain. And like you say, the implications that it's got, not just for us as consumers. I mean, as consumers, we'll be able to know where our products came from and all of that. We'll be able to see the whole process when we make an order or that kind of stuff, and that's good. But in terms of what it can do for business, in like tracking orders, how long orders are going to take to arrive, and all of this kind of stuff, it's going to save them a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of guesswork. Really, they're going to know what process of the distribution that it's in, or packaging or manufacturing process or whatever it is, they're going to be able to track it every step of the way, so they'll know exactly how long that they can expect it, so they can tell their customers and their clients and the people that depend on them, bang, this is, you can track, here's a link, you can track it yourself, here's how you track your orders and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just I don't know, it's kind of like an extra security, not so much security, but like a kind of a peace of mind for people's customers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you get a parcel from FedEx or whatever, or your, I don't know, say your friend's sending you something from, where are you? You're in Minnesota. Somebody sends you a package from California and you track it on FedEx.
Yep.
And you can see where it is, what sorting office it is, and all of that kind of stuff. Kind of same kind of principle, but if it's able to be done on an industrial scale, the implications of that are great.
Yeah, I think the implications go even deeper than a completed product, because if we think about maybe a complex manufacturing where you have multiple parts that need to go into the finished product, now you can take this down to the individual components to verify that it's a genuine part and not made up of counterfeit parts. And there are literally billions and billions of dollars lost by businesses every year to counterfeit products. And we tend to look towards enforcement. What are the law enforcement remedies for this? So, whether it's customs or people like that. Here's another example where blockchain can be applied and we don't have to rely on the fallibility of humans doing this.
Yeah.
Being done on the blockchain. So whether it's, and the applications I think are endless. I mean, obvious applications would be like high-end fashion and things like that, where there's all sorts of knockoff products. Those are obvious, but I think VeChain was an interesting. I know it's been performing pretty well.
I think the biggest sector that it's going to make a difference in is the food sector. Lots and lots of people these days are very conscious of where their food comes from, even if they're not a vegetarian or they're not a vegan or anything like that. But they want to know that the meat that they eat has come from like a free range, like kind of place that's, you know what I mean? It's not a battery. It's the conditions for the animals that are kept there. They're all good and that kind of stuff. And it gives people a lot of control there to see where they're buying their stuff from and how long it's taken to get to where to their local grocers and stuff like that. And again, we live in an information kind of world now, and for us to be able to have that information like at our fingertips is, I mean, it's a really good thing. I mean, people underestimate how important that kind of stuff is, I suppose.
Yeah, and and this brings it down to the individual consumer, right? It puts the power of the consumer, depending on how it's applied, but it can put the power in the hands of the individual consumers, that when they're in the aisle and they're getting ready to buy a product, they have something that says, "Yep, this is really, this is a genuine product." So, and we talked in the past about 2018 really being a year of utility tokens and for projects to really prove their worth. And to me, this was a prime example of a utility token that is trying to solve a problem and is getting traction in doing so. So VeChain, check it out to everybody. And here's another one. This was another interesting one. I had talked about Brave before. And this was another one that's very similar to the Brave project, the Brave browser and the basic attention token. And this is called BitClave. And it's trying to do the same thing. It's trying to help you as an individual consumer that's online take control of your personal data. So this was another one here, and they do have a little video here that talks about what BitClave is. It's very similar to the basic attention token and the Brave browser. So BitClave was this one. that kind of clears out my.
Well, I have a couple. If we're talking about coins that people should
let's
do some research, and I've actually got a list here. Actually, bear with me. that these are ones that I've done a relative amount of. I mean, for some of them, I've done quite a lot of research on. For others, I've only done a little bit of research and need to follow up with it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, there's a few coins: Utrust, Medical Chain, ClearPole. What is it? Is it WAN Chain or One Chain or WAN Chain?
Yep.
Then you've got Trinity. Is it STK Lambden? INT coin, like those are just some off the top of my head that I wrote down. That they're coins that are going to be probably, some are going to be big this year, some are going to be big next year, some maybe not big until the year after, but they're all coins that they all have a use. They're all good coins. They from even some of them I've obviously looked into more than others, like I said, but even some of the basic research that I've done on the ones I've not gone in depth with, they're all coins that serve a purpose. They're all coins that there's probably a need for in the marketplace, and they're going to do some good at some point. Is it whether or not they hit some ridiculous highs, or whether they even plan on hitting ridiculous highs, is kind of neither here or there for me, really. I'm just more intrigued by the fact that they are good projects. I mean, maybe I'll even whack up maybe a list in the MDD group of some good coins to just take a look at and do some research on. Because I mean, not all of them are like ones that are gonna, you know what I mean? You might not necessarily make 2, 3, 4, 5, 600% ROI in a month like you would do, say, on some ICOs and things like that. But they're coins that they will, if you're looking to buy and hold some coins for long term, sort of long term holdings, but you want to make sure they're good coins. VE Chain, like I said, One Chain, ClearPole, they're good coins to get into. But obviously, do your own research. Don't just take our word for things. Like, look into the coins yourself. Look who's involved in it, who's advising on the coins and stuff like that. And yeah, you'll probably come to the same conclusions as I did.
Yeah, and we did talk about, I think, that last week or maybe the week before, where, you know, when you evaluate the coin, are you evaluating it based on a swing trader, or are you doing it for long-term kind of investing in the company and looking at something that's going to be part of your longer-term portfolio? And, you know, apply common sense. And does the project make sense? Can you understand what they're trying to do? You know, yeah. And it's, you know, to get caught up in buzzwords and things like that.
And technical jargon and stuff you don't, just because it sounds clever doesn't mean that it is clever all the time. A lot of these coins will throw out big words and technical terms, and just to try and confound you a little bit. So yeah, like, obviously do your research. Again, it's a case of doing your research. Don't just take them for their word. Don't take it at face value. Research the stuff. I mean, it only takes 5 minutes to find out if one of these companies is talking crap.
Well, it kind of goes back to what we talked about before, is also thinking as a value investor as well, right? So you know, check out that that we posted. But yeah, maybe we can make that part of the weekly thing, as we just pick 2 coins and we talk about those. Okay, let's go back to questions. There were a few new ones. Putin endorses crypto, which is good sign. You know, that's an interesting one, Janita. Putin in Russia he's basically saying is, I don't want Russia to be left behind on this. We need to be more aggressive. And, you know, hats off, well, for whatever they're going to do, hats off to them. But they're taking a position that, you know, we're gonna be aggressive in this space. And I think that's because they see that this is the future. And he's even stated in pretty much in statements is that I don't want to be left behind on this thing. You know what? We got to step it up. So yeah, he is. You know, he's definitely you know, crypto advocate. It's probably going to be the crypto ruble, but even this week, there's been some interesting articles or interesting news about what Venezuela is doing. Whether it be successful or not, I don't know, but it's not the total flop that some people were saying it is. So,
this probably doesn't go down well with the majority of people that listen to the mainstream media and listen to the crap they see on CNN, Fox News, BBC, or whatever else, wherever it is in your country. But I actually really like President Putin. He might be a bit of a bastard at times.
But he's the one that got us Trump. I mean, So.
And he does some crappy stuff like meddling in elections, and he does all. He plays politics well, right? But when it comes to issues that actually matter, he's usually got his finger on the button, and crypto's another sign of that. He sees it for what it is. He can see that it's useful. He's probably got a whole ton of advisors that have said, right, okay, there is a few guys that have done this and they've laundered money and blah, 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 blah. This is the technology. This is what implications it can have for our country. This is what we can do in terms of our healthcare or our land registry or whatever else it is that they want to do with it. And he's taken the information on board and he's gone, right, bang, well, okay, let's chuck some money at this and see where we can go.
The thing to keep in mind when we're talking about things at that level, this is a freaking high stakes game, right? When we're talking about that international level, and the vast majority of the people aren't tuned into the news to that degree. And first of all, chances are, if you're watching a cryptocurrency live stream on your weekend, you're already part of the Wingnut Coalition. And, we're talking about things that your average person will say, what's it backed by? I don't get it. Whatever. So, that's why I say hats off to Putin for doing this. Great. I think it's wonderful.
I think a lot of the skepticism with when it comes to governments and crypto, right, is one, you got a lot of people that are saying a lot of stuff that's not exactly true, like when they talk about the criminal element and the money laundering and the terrorists using it. I think Silk Road gave Bitcoin a bit of bad press because, a few people on there were doing some crazy shit as well. But I mean, it's a case of as with everything, you're going to have people that are going to use it for the wrong thing. But when it comes to like governments and stuff, when you have a system that is a threat like it is to the natural order of things, but at the same time, it's something that really can help the state of play in a country. Take obviously Russia, for instance. Russia, in general, is actually quite a poor country. It's got loads of oligarchs and loads of billionaires, but the country itself is actually kind of poor. Mm-hmm. And blockchain technology could be a way for lots of normal regular Russian people to change their lives, kind of thing. And if it takes Putin to be the one to turn around and say, right, fine, okay, we're going to run with this. We're going to do the crypto ruble, and that becomes people's entrance into the crypto world, and then they go on from there to develop new blockchain technologies and learn more about it, even if they only use it to pay their bills. That's great. But if they go on to then learn more about crypto and they learn more about blockchain, but the governments themselves, what I don't like is the fact that they seem to think that Satoshi Nakamoto is sitting in some cabin in the woods somewhere and he's waiting for all these governments to invest a load of money, and then he's just going to turn off his computer and then that's it. Blockchain's disappeared. And then that's the kind of thing that kind of shows their ignorance when it comes to crypto and the blockchain, because they don't understand that it's all linked. It's not. There's no one person that can turn off. It's like trying to say you can turn off the internet. You can't turn off the internet. The internet is the internet.
Yep.
So, So yeah, like the governments have, when they say certain things like that they're showing their ignorance and their lack of understanding. But then obviously you got the other end of the spectrum there, when you've got people like Putin saying, well, we can use this to our advantage, and if we're one of the first movers on it, then we could be ahead of the game. And to be fair, if they do enough research in it, there's no reason why Russia probably couldn't be a crypto powerhouse in terms of like the global governments and stuff, man.
Well, when you think on that international level, right? When you think on that larger scale international level, it's no secret that for quite some time, there are plenty of countries that resent the fact that the US dollar was a base currency that everybody traded in, right? If two countries wanted to trade with each other, they had to go to the dollar first and then do it.
Yep.
There was very, very little direct there was we'll call it peer-to-peer, right? So if two countries wanted to trade with each other, that base currency would have to be the US dollar. You know damn well there are plenty of countries that resented the fact that they had to do the US dollar. So the idea between China and Russia and what have you, if they could come up with an alternative base currency, number one, that would be perfectly fine with them. Number two, we know that moving large sums of money internationally is highly inefficient when you're dealing with fiat. So if we could find something that's not fiat that allows us to move large sums of money rapidly and cheaply, well, we just described cryptocurrency, right? We just described either, and sure, okay, maybe it's XRP or whatever, but I'm saying it's cryptocurrency. So a cryptocurrency, or China and Russia could trade peer-to-peer using the crypto ruble or whatever. Just chew on that one for a while, think about it. There's no ruble ICO yet, so just calm down. It's not happening yet. Great call, guys. Thank you very much, Mr. John Smith. We appreciate that. The donate button will be up shortly.
Yeah.
To our pledge drive. Let's see. Steve Swanson, do you do much DCA, dollar cost averaging? Do you do much DCA on your initial buys, or just let it ride? I don't.
Depends on the coin.
Yeah, I would say I don't initially do my dollar cost averaging. When I enter into a trade, it wasn't with the intention of, right? I don't know which direction it's going to go, so I don't know if I'm going to dollar cost average or not. Fair?
Yeah, that's a fair one. The only reason why I say that it's any different for me is if it's a coin that I support. So, for instance, like I will chase a coin like LTC. I'll chase a coin like Strat. I'll chase a coin like Ethereum, because I know at some stage them coins are coming back. So if I can get my dollar cost average down when they do come back, it's going to take a lot less for me to get into profit. So I don't mind chasing those. Obviously, the risk comes when you start chasing shitcoins.
Yes. There's no doubt. I will say I certainly do use dollar cost averaging. I have multiple positions on Vertcoin because I believe in the coin. To Johnny's point, if it's a coin that you believe in, and the market moves in a direction that supports dollar cost averaging, absolutely. But based on the question, I don't enter into a trade with the idea of dollar cost averaging. So, and we've also mentioned before that it's pretty unusual in Crypto Agent Bot that you would get signals that would be of dollar cost averaging sorts. They might put a recommendation as, hey, we already hold this coin. If you want to buy more, you can do so. But it's not, a plan that at 5% increments or 10% increments, a new signal or new recommendation comes out.
I would say that using dollar cost averaging as a strategy isn't a very clever one, because then there's a lot of people that would say, if you like a coin, it doesn't matter if it's on a pump, this, that, and the other, just get into it, and then if it does drop, then you can just buy up positions all the way down till it hits the bottom. And I kind of see what they're saying, but at the same time, if it's on a pump, it's going to come down, so why not just wait?
Yeah.
You don't have to get into it at that exact point. Everybody will always tell you you should never get in on a pump. Never. well, anyone that knows what they're talking about. Anyway, anybody that tries to encourage you to buy on a pump is an absolute idiot, and you should never take their advice again. If it's on a pump, just wait until the next dip. I mean, usually, it's crypto. Like, these pumps, they don't often last long. You're looking at maybe what 1-2 week cycle before the next dip in a coin, maybe a month at a push. So you're never going to be waiting long till you get an opportunity to buy the coin again. But don't get in on, like, you know what I mean? If a coin's pumped 50% or 80% or whatever in the last couple of days, don't buy at the top and then keep buying all the way down. It just doesn't make any sense. Unless you've got lots of money to throw at it, and obviously use the dollar cost averaging to bring the overall price down. It's not a strategy that you should ever use. I wouldn't recommend using that at all. No.
To me, I use it basically as, I'm not going to say a guard or something, but I was just going to make what I was going to say is about dollar cost averaging. If you're going to do dollar cost averaging, you also need to do it with asset allocation in mind. You know, if you have X number of BTC set aside for your trading, and then you just randomly do dollar cost averaging, and that starts eating up your BTC, which puts you out of position for other trades. So there's that balance that needs to happen between portfolio and asset allocation and dollar cost averaging. So just think about what that would be. Is if I were to do dollar cost averaging on this coin, of my total BTC, how much would I be willing to commit to that? You know, because that's what I'll say.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Because you could, instead of holding a lot of bags, you could end up holding one big bag. I found a Bitcoin ATM 30 minutes from my house. You can buy Bitcoin on the spot. John, do you live in California? I know you're in New York. You live in California. I have a friend here locally that does a lot of business out in California, and he's going through that process of putting Bitcoin, crypto ATMs in California markets, and I think in Arizona, and I think it's like the South and West. So I don't know if you're still with us.
Vegas has got quite a few now as well.
Vegas, there you go.
Yeah. London's got quite a few these days as well. I think there's about 60 in London alone. It's not a massive amount, but considering that 5 years ago there wasn't a Bitcoin ATM probably anywhere in the world, and now there's exactly. Like now they're cropping up everywhere, so it's a good sign.
So what I'm going to do now, this is going to be the last news item, I promise, and then I'm going to go kind of into the nether regions of the news and say, just you take this one with a big grain of salt. I'm going to go to my screen share.
Are we going down the rabbit hole now?
We are going down a little rabbit hole. This one was on a Reddit, a BTC Reddit, just posted not too long ago, 16 hours ago. And I don't know, can you guys see it? 600 miners theft in Iceland's biggest data center, valued at over 2 million USD, stolen Advania data center and Genesis. Security guard arrested with 2 other Icelandic citizens. The miners are all still missing.
Oh, they kept that quiet. I've heard nothing about this at all.
See, that's what I tell you, folks. If you join us on the weekend live stream, you're going to hear things that it's not out there yet, because I dig deep for my news.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one's not made it into it yet, but this was on a BTC on a Reddit. So Genesis Mining, I had not heard of Advania, but I certainly have heard of Genesis. So 600 must be ASIC mining rigs. There's no article that goes with this at this point. Well, there was an article that goes in it, but it's written in Icelandic, and I'm really rusty.
Yeah. I've barely got a good grasp of English, so Icelandic might be a little bit above my reach.
Yeah, so who knows? We might see this article come out. But anyway, 600 miners, over 2 million USD stolen. And the security guards were arrested, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, a tidbit of news for you that you heard here first. Remember that.
No wonder you can't buy any mining power on Genesis right now.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anything on their site. I haven't been to Genesis mining site for some time. So, okay, so I got an hour and 40 minutes, and we did not do any chart stuff. So, do you want to look at BTC chart real quick?
If you don't want to, because I don't want to, I don't know. It's up to you. I don't mind. I've been looking at them all week, so I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
it's just been depressing.
Yeah. What I was going to say on the BTC chart, I mean, we can certainly look at that. The reality is, if you look at the daily, there's just no indicators that are showing that we're getting ready to emerge from this current position. I mean, the MACD is not showing it, the RSI is not showing it. We are just basically buckled in, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you see my T-shirt?
Oh yes, like it.
It's hollow,
like
baby. It's hollow.
Right? Yeah, so in terms of the Bitcoin, right? Last week, it kind of looked a little bit like if it broke through the trend line and it broke through sort of the $11,500 to $12,000 region. If it had broke through that, we would have been home and dry. But as we obviously saw, it didn't. It went up to the trend line and it bounced back down spectacularly. So I mean, depending on who you're listening to, will determine, I don't know, where you reckon the bottom actually is. I mean, there's a lot of people predicting $2,000. There's a lot of people predicting $5,000, $4,000. There's a really reliable guy that I follow on Twitter. He's predicting about 7,800 to 8,200. He reckons that's going to be a ballpark for the bottom. He reckons that this week, starting tomorrow, that Wall Street is effectively going to be dumping some Bitcoin to try and buy it back cheaper. And then he reckons, like I say, between 7,800 and 8,200 is the region to sort of buy it back again. So he's I wouldn't say I trust him 100%, because you shouldn't trust anybody 100%. But he's been right more often than not, and he is a guy who's been traded by the sounds of things. He's been trading for quite a few years in the traditional markets as well. And seems to have a lot of contacts in that area. And if that's what he's saying, I don't know. It remains to be seen whether it does actually happen. But I don't know. I would lean more towards thinking that might be realistic, more realistic than the cries of Bitcoin's going to reach $2,000. Sell all your shit.
Yeah. This was another one that just came up today. And as I mentioned at the beginning is, we can look at the charts, we can read the articles, we can see everybody's opinions and all that kind of stuff. It comes down to one of two things. You're either holding Bitcoin or you're not holding Bitcoin. If you're holding Bitcoin, it comes down to two things. You're either going to hold it or you're going to sell it. So if you hold Bitcoin, or you have Bitcoin and your plan is to hold it, we can postulate, speculate, and guess all day long what the thing is going to do. You'll know as soon as we know when this thing starts moving. And so to that, there was live Bitcoin news. This one just came out. This is this gentleman from, getting all sorts of Telegram alerts now. Thomas Lee from, I can't remember where he's from, Fundstat Global Advisors partner, is saying, basically he's saying it's going to be, you say, according to Thomas Lee, it will take 85 days for Bitcoin price to recover. As such, that would mean big things will happen in May and June. Reaching a new all-time high can take a while, though. July seems to be a fair target for a new record Bitcoin, whether or not surpassing 19,000. But again, this is just another guess, right? This is just somebody else's feeling of what could happen, that it's going to be May or June, and then, you know, come July, whatever, you know.
To be honest, it echoes a lot of what other people are saying in terms of the time frame. People are expecting that probably from, I don't know, I would say maybe right off next week, it'll hit the bottom at some point next week, potentially. But a lot of people are saying it'll be the week after that things start to move back in the right direction, probably from the 4th of March onwards. But yeah, everybody's saying the same thing. Back end of June, maybe up to the middle of July, that's where we're going to find the peak. Chances are, I mean, again, depending on who you're listening to, will depend on how high you think these all-time highs are going to be. But I mean, there's some people that make outrageous claims at the best of times. I mean, I've seen people saying it's going to be £64,000 by June.
Yeah,
$64,000 by June. And looking at the way things are, I wouldn't even want it to go that high that fast, because it's just going to come down with an almighty crash. And there's going to be a lot of people that lose a hell of a lot of money again. So I'd rather it just build up nice and slowly and steadily than go parabolic again.
Yeah. Yep. So I just did pull up USDT real quick to Bitcoin. So, you know, what I'm looking at, and I'm looking at a daily, we can go out even further. The further you go out, the more unexciting the MACD becomes. We're getting to a point of convergence again. Again, when I look at this, I'm just not seeing anything that would tell me that there's a clear signal one way or another. When I look at the volumes are relatively unimpressive.
Yep.
The MACD is unimpressive. The RSI is basically asleep. I got nothing, folks. I got nothing.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, it was a good sign towards the early part of this week where Bitcoin jumped up to, I think it got up to about 510 billion. But literally within a day, that went back down to 475, and then it went back up to 505. I think I checked it yesterday. It was at like 478 or something like that. And it was just like I don't know how to call it. You know what I mean? Like, usually they're like, either money comes into the market or leaves the market. Like, it's predictable. Like, it kind of goes up for a while, then it goes down for a while. It doesn't go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down daily. It's not really ever been like that. And I don't really understand why it's been like that, to be fair, because usually the kinds of people that are playing the market, they're not people that take their money out of the market. And obviously, if the if the coin market cap's like rising and falling like that, that's money coming into play and going out of play. So I don't know really what's going on there. It's a lot of money, though, to be. I mean, we're talking swings of what in a few days of 30 to 50 billion. That's a lot of people like taking money out to their ledgers and all of that kind of stuff. And I can't imagine that, aside from some of the big boys, I can't imagine that there's that many people that have got that much profits to be taken out onto their ledgers. So it's got to just be manipulated. Again, it's probably just more manipulation.
Yeah, you would think if it's people taking profits, you know, they would have taken them already, right? And for people to be taking profits this late in the game or this long in this kind of this bearish market would kind of surprise me, but I don't know what's going on in their head. So I went down to the 1 hour. We do see a MACD crossing that's taking place. We see an RSI, you know, the RSI is waking up a little bit, but you know, as Bitcoin has proven over the last few weeks, is that these short-term, there's nothing that's really indicating that sustainable direction one way or another. It happens and it comes back down. So we just keep on trading in a channel, so to speak. And that's what it is. So the other thing I have, this little tool that I use called Crypto Tracky. I'm looking at Bittrex right now. And what this does is basically looks at the coins and it gives me my candles, 30, 60, 90, 120 on my candles. So these are my times right here. And this shows what's going on. I can look at all Bittrex real quick. or not all of Bittrex, but I sort it by volume. And I can look at the coins real quick, see who's doing what. So right now, BCPT, Wax, XLM, so Lumens is making some moves. NXS, XCM. Yeah, so I mean, there's some movement, but as far as Bitcoin, it's just really uninspiring, really, to me.
Yeah, Bitcoin itself's been a bit dire. In terms of the altcoins, it's been all right because it's the swings have been not too extreme over the last few days, really, except for obviously when it jumped from 10.5 down to like 9.5 or whatever. I mean, but even that's not really a dramatic kind of swing that we've seen before, but it's not particularly like a massive dump or anything like that. It's I don't know, we've come to expect that now. So I think that's why you've seen the alts kind of react to that and start to wake up a little bit. And they kind of seem to be taking it in turns. I don't know if you've noticed that as well, like THC, NXS, those kinds of coins. They'll have a pump for a few days or a day or whatever, and they'll go up 7, 12, 15% or whatever. The next day they'll drop down again by 5%, and then it'll be a different group of coins that decide to pump that day, and then the next day they go down. And I don't know, it's kind of tentative, really. And the coins that kind of hinge on Bitcoin itself don't seem to be doing shit.
Yeah, okay, well, so here there's what I was going to say is, as I look at the coins that I'm currently holding, even the ones that show in the green, and if you're in TradingView, you can list your coins over here, you put them here, you list them, then you can rank order them by, movement. So I got BNB, Z Classic, I have them all listed here. So when I look at these, I mean, even the ones when they're in green, the movements themselves, I mean, yes, it's green, but it's just not what we were seeing back in December or what have you, where we see these just big aggressive moves. They're moving, just not large amounts. And the candles are quite small too. So I mean, look at the volumes are pretty pathetic. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Just really kind of like very vanilla. Now, as I scroll down there, we saw Civic was kind of making some directional move. I mean, at this point, a slow climb makes me happy. We had
the thing that I find, I don't know if you've noticed the same, but all of the coins that they start to dig themselves out of the hole that they got themselves into, and then Bitcoin does something else and it drops it back even further. Like take for instance NXS, THC, SLR. These were all coins that were doing particularly well before Bitcoin went off. And I mean, I think, what was it today? Was it today or yesterday that THC reached? I think it was a huge low from what it's been for months. I think it was like 11.75 or something like that. But the even though these coins are making gains compared to what they've lost, I mean, some of these coins you're looking at an 80p. Like if you're holding a coin from say December, October, November, or whatever it is, you're looking at that coin losing about 80 to possibly more percent of its value. And in order for you to make what you've invested in those coins back, they need to go up about 300 or 400% from where they are. So these coins going up 10-15%, I mean, while it looks exciting, if you're invested in these coins, it's not really something to really shout about. And like you say, the swings haven't been great. Even the coins that are pumping, they're not pumping the way that they would usually pump. And there's loads of money in the market, and there's positive vibes in the marketplace. You know what I mean? It's like even the pumps are tentative right now.
Yeah, it's pretty anemic. And I don't know. I mean, there's going to be every now and then there's going to be those breakouts. I think we saw Lumen kind of making some moves, but in the volumes, or at least there to support it. everything's kind of there, showing some good moves, but I've got so far to go. I got a ways to go before I get back to my, just get back to where I started from. So, and that's the case on a lot of the coins that I'm in. Okay, so I'm just checking questions one last time. I don't see any questions. So what I will say, so Johnny, do you have, what I'm thinking is, I hope you guys are enjoying the live streams that we do. Yeah, maybe they go a little bit too long, but whatever, they're free. It's not a pay-per-view, so why sweat it? And you can binge watch us every weekend, but keep watching us. I think you're going to see there's probably going to be some announcements and some interesting things that we'll be talking about in the near future. Because we're always working in the background, folks. We're always working in the background. So please tune in. Johnny, do you have any close? We're getting to the top of the hour, so we'll just close this out. And you got any final thoughts?
No, not. I wouldn't so much say final thoughts. Like, I hope that this will potentially be the last week we have to worry about the bear market. Hopefully, we start to see some more positive signs by this time next week, so we can have some happy stuff to be talking about again, and things moving back in the right direction. But yeah, obviously, thanks everybody for that's been on. It's been watching us. I mean, I know I arrived a little bit late to the party because the event said 9:30 in the group, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, I was out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, thanks. Obviously, it's Sunday night. I know most of you guys that are watching, you're getting ready for work, and you know what I mean. You finishing up your family time on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you coming on and watching. And yeah, obviously, like Dale says, stay tuned for obviously what we're going to be covering in the next sort of weeks and months. I know Dale meets a hell of a lot of guys that are involved in crypto. Some of them have got their own tokens, some of them are developers and all kinds of stuff like that. It'll be interesting for when we're able to get those guys to come on. And yeah, that just like he says, we're working in the background all the time. I'm literally obsessed with this stuff. So yeah, so every minute that I'm not like looking after the little man or down the gym, having a swim or doing some exercise, I'm literally focused 120% on crypto. So yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for what's to come. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, I think so. And I also, if you run across news items, or if you hear about something, if you run across a news item that you find curious or you would like maybe as part of the discussion, send it to us, and we can include that in the weekend live stream and talk about it. Otherwise, I just randomly pull stuff that I see throughout the week, and this isn't about me. This is about you. This is about the community. So, yeah. And
so also, I mean, I'd probably say that the best one to speak to is Dale. So I would say if you've got articles you want covered,
yeah,
I would say send Dale the message. He can keep a record of what items that the itinerary for the discussions and stuff like that. But yeah, anything. We're happy to go through it if it's stuff that you want us to look into. If it's stuff you just found interesting, if it's stuff that you agree or disagree with and you want to come on and you want to, you know what I mean? Or if there's anything that we've said that you don't agree with and you'd like to come on and have your own say, like, feel free. Like, at the end of the day, this isn't just for us to come on and stroke our own egos and pretend like we are like experts here. We're following the same path as you guys. We're fellow travelers. So if you've got any insight that you could teach us, you're more than welcome to come on as well. Like, we're happy to give you the spotlight.
Absolutely. So that is Crypto in 45 for this for February the 25th of 2018. We appreciate you guys taking time to be with us today. Johnny, as always, thank you for taking time there in the later night. And everybody have a great week. Have a safe week, and we will see you all here next Sunday.
Peace out.